There she is. Agatha, you remember Detective Ross? He was here the night of the incident.
I do. How are you, Detective?
Miss Black, I'm doing well. Sorry to barge in on you like this, but you're a hard person to get a hold of. Finally got in contact with your aunt.
Who still uses a rotary phone? One with no answering machine.
This is an old conversation.
One certainly worth having, especially after the incident last night.
Are you aware of what happened to your neighbors down the street?
The Hewitts, yeah, I don't know the whole story, but...
They were killed, Agatha. They were murdered last night in their own home.
And someone broke through a back window, and we think it was a robbery that was interrupted.
Detective Ross says that the bodies were butchered beyond recognition.
Agatha, we think what happened to you and your aunt might be related. Did you hear anything peculiar last night? It's around midnight?
No. I was asleep by midnight. I had to work today, but I did see the crowd gathered this morning.
Did you know the Hewitts very well?
Not really. Aunt Evie knew them years ago, but they didn't really go out much within the last few years.
Yeah. Mrs. Hewitt's rehab nurse found them this morning. Otherwise, no one would have discovered their bodies for days.
Why don't I make us some tea?
I'm very concerned that someone in the neighborhood is responsible for these break-ins. Lots of drug activity going on over the last couple of years.
I tried to get Evie to sell this house years ago. She flat out refused.
Have you been able to remember anything else about the other night?
I just remember being awakened by Aunt Evie's screams. She was screaming. And then I heard her yell out my name. I grabbed the knife that I keep under my bed.
And why would you keep a knife under your bed?
For protection. Aunt Evie insisted on it. She had one too. She was always afraid of someone breaking in. She was afraid of a lot of things.
That she was.
I ran out into the hallway. Aunt Evie's light was on in her room. It was blinding. Maybe there was a figure moving in the light. I don't remember.
Side 2. The patients had taken over the Brandis Asylum. They had murdered the entire night staff with their bare hands, leaving the sterile white hallways spattered with blood. Dr. Raglan and Nurse Thomas, the only two staff members left alive, had locked themselves in the basement, hoping their hiding place would go unnoticed, hoping the frenzied psychotic mass would disperse.
The screaming stopped. That was Carol. I know that was Carol. What did they do to her?
Keep it down, Nurse Thomas. They'll hear you.
Some of them were eating flesh.
Must have been those new drugs Dr. Price began to administer yesterday.
It's only a matter of time before they find us. When they do, they're going to pull us apart.
Dr. Raglan tried to place his hand over the frightened woman's mouth, but she moved away, knocking over a shelf of supplies. The blood-crazed patients heard the loud crash and began to make their way towards the basement.
Argus knows where the keys are. Oh, I can hear the keys rattle. I can smell the blood.
Help me push the shelf against the door. It's our only way to fend them off.
It's too late. I can hear the keys. I can smell the death.
Hello? I'll have to call you back. Okay. I'm really exhausted.